Legend tales of a place where the booze flows freely and the stories are always entertaining. If you are bold enough to seek out such a place, head 13 miles down the Tuscan Highway to a tiny blues joint known as the Townsmith Tavern. Once there, enjoy the ride. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to a UA production of Beer, Blues, and Bowl.
Excuse me, you can't say that. You're gonna lose your family-friendly rating. You're gonna corrupt the kids.
BS! A podcast that invites you to grab a cold beverage, pull up a seat, and enjoy time with friends. And here are your hosts, Howard Blues and the Mark Kidder.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Beer, Blues, and BS, the podcast that knows when to hold them, when to fold them, when to walk away, and when to run. I'm your host, Howard Blues, here, as always, with my co-host, the man, the myth, the legend, the Mark Kidder. Kidder, how you doing tonight?
I should get up and run away. I'm doing okay, you know. Here we are. It's another finally Friday night, getting ready to roll, ready for the weekend. Today, tomorrow and Sunday, decent. Next week is going to be hot. So, looking forward to that. So, I'm all right. How you doing?
Kidder, it's been a kind of a long day. And I'll talk about some of that as we, of course, get rolling into the show, because it's been an interesting week in my world. So we'll get to that. But we both got beers that are getting warm, so I think we got to go right to what's on tap.
Hell yeah! You go first.
Okay.
What? You don't want the honors of going. It seems like I'm just like, yeah, I'm ready. Let's go. And then you're like, okay, just gotta wait. Okay, anytime. So you go.
Okay. I mean, it's just you don't usually make a throw that way. I wasn't expecting it. You caught me off guard.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Yeah. So tonight, Kidder, I am drinking what is called Old Chub. It is by the Oscar Blues Brewery. It is a Scotch ale, 8% alcohol, 12 floral ounces, but absolutely no tasting notes whatsoever on this lovely plaid can. So
I do like the colors on there, and it's funny because it's a Scotch. So does it taste like tape?
No, I don't think so. I do enjoy a good Scotch ale. My favorite beer, which I had on episode 25, which is Cold Smoke, is also a Scotch ale. So that was part of my desire to try this particular beer, being that it's of the same variety as my favorite. Not much of a smell to it. Let's give it a taste. That is that's pretty good. It's pretty good. Not real bitter. I'd say a nice smooth kind of taste to it. Has a little bit of a kind of like a coffee like aftertaste. Not too strong, but it's there. I'm picking up what I would call, the best to my description, kind of that coffee-ish taste. But yeah, this is going to be an enjoyable drink. I'm kind of glad I have one of these. So yeah,
it doesn't taste like tape.
Doesn't taste like tape. of course, I haven't eaten tape, so I don't know what tape tastes like. I have nothing to make that reference to.
No reference. What about tasting like tape smells? How about that?
Yeah, no.
Okay, good.
I also don't smell tape. Who smells tape?
Some are pungent. It's in fact. Just as a side note, I'm gonna pause for this side note before I open this beer because this needs to be said. Because some tape can be damn pungent, and some other tape is like, it's tape, and you don't smell it. And how do I know how this stuff like smells and probably tastes? This son of a bitch. This son of a bitch right here is a classic. It is, in fact, a Howard Blues classic. I don't even want to pull the top off of this frickin' thing because it's going to stink up the whole damn room. Okay, just for you, I will. Look at the size of this son of a bitch. Look at this frickin' thing, and it still has juice. Oh, God. It still has juice.
For our audio listeners, what Kidder held up was a Sharpie, but it is the biggest Sharpie you can get. It is called a Magnum. Magnum. Yeah, I'll let you talk about your beer, Kidder, but we should tell the story of the Magnum. Although the way you're drinking it, I'm guessing you've had this on the show before, whatever your beer is.
This is the I Heart ND from Laughing Sun, based in Bismarck.
Mm-hmm.
Quick refresher for everybody. Drink North Dakota craft beer. The Sun doesn't question. It doesn't judge. It simply gives life. Laughing Sun is our beer and your beer. Local brewery, local ingredients, growing community. Take the Laughing Sun with you, in fact, and cheers from the LSB family. As I said, brewed right here in Bismarck, North Dakota. Aside from that, it's 4% alcohol by volume. Keep it cold, and 12 full ounces. It's a golden ale. It's light and crisp, and I Heart Indy. There you go. I shouldn't have done that. That damn thing.
I'm glad you did, though. There's a part of me that's
this is the crap that I take for you. For the record, look what I do for you.
When you started talking about the smell of tape, and you're like, I'm like, if he doesn't, we should talk about the Magnum tonight. And then you held it up, and that's what broke me. Was I'm like, we went to the same place. Yeah. The story behind this particular marker and why we have it. Well, Kidder has it. Our good friend from Nevada, Farva, when he got married, we were hosting his bachelor party, and we decided that it'd be a really great idea to make him a shirt. But being that we hadn't really planned this out, and we were broke college kids, the best we could do was we went to Walmart. We bought just the biggest white shirt we could get, because Farva's a big guy. And we decided then we also needed the biggest marker we could get, which was this Sharpie Magnum. And proceeded in the car on the drive over to Farva's place to pick him up to, I forget what all it said. I think it was, buy me a beer last night of freedom.
Yep, something along those lines. I believe the gentleman from Indiana was scribbling.
Yeah. But we did this in the car.
In the
on the
like
drive.
in a colder part of the time, colder part of the year.
Yeah. And so, like, Kidder's not overreacting. The smell of that thing is atrocious, and it hangs around, and it's almost a contact high in its own sense. So, those of us in the car were, we're feeling its effects. I think poor Farva, who wore the shirt all night, was really feeling it. So, he was. I think he was ready for that party to be done and to get out of that shirt.
It helped keep the other ladies away.
He did get a beer out of it, though. Somebody did buy him a beer, so success? Question mark?
Man, if only somebody would buy us a beer at beerbluesbs.com.
Yeah. You know, Kidder, it would be a lot of fun to have Farva on the show sometime.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, Farva, I know you you see the posts on Beer Blues and BS because I've seen you like and, say that you enjoy our posts. So, Farva, here it is. Right now, your open invitation to come and join us. And maybe we won't heckle you as much as we heckle a certain gentleman from Indiana who it has been 20 episodes, Kidder, since we really started pushing, trying to get that friend of ours on the show, and he still isn't here. It's been 20 episodes.
Man, you're telling me that we've been ribbing him for 20 episodes, 20 weeks plus, because I think we had a week without a show, and he still doesn't take the time to open up his computer or grab his phone and join us on this show.
Yeah. I mean, he's in the state now. I've seen it. He's here, So,
we've even I've been across the galaxy and been on this show.
Yeah. So, hey, Farva, see if you can do better than the gentleman from Indiana. Let's see if you can be on the show sometime in the next 20 episodes and show him up. In fact, let's see if you could be on the show before the gentleman from Indiana and just really make him look bad. So, yeah. Challenges out there.
It's not going to take much. Throwing that down.
The race is out there. Which one of them will be on the show first? The world may, when it comes to gentlemen, the world may never know. But we'll see. We'll see. I got some faith.
We'll give it a shot.
That one of these guys will step up and join us for an episode.
If not, we'll have the old standbys. No, they're not even standbys. They're part of the show. Rude Boy, Kyle, or our good old buddy Nico, Bob Giggles. We'll just have to call them up and let's go.
Yeah.
Well, now that I'm getting all amped up, you talk about races, the race here, the race there. Who can be on the show first? I see something on the sheet about you in a race. What the hell, man?
Well, this is the update. As you know, for the last few weeks, I've been participating in a wellness committee challenge at work. And, Kidder, we're in the middle of the marathon.
That's right.
Race.
That's right. The race. When
Yes.
you put race, I was like, oh, there's something new.
It's no, it's the same thing. They call them races because the challenges are based off race length. So, yeah, but it makes it hard to kind of describe. It's a challenge, but it's a race.
Racist.
But we're not really racing. It's yeah. Anyway, so we're in the middle of the marathon. Which, if you haven't followed, I basically have 7 days to go. I'm blanking on my distance. 26.2 miles. There it comes. And so this was day 4 of that. And Kidder, I was just looking here. Let's see, do some quick math. 15, 18. I'm probably sitting pretty close to 21 miles already.
All right.
So
Jacob's rolling.
I should be able to knock out the last 5 here tomorrow, probably. I think we're planning to take Howie Jr. to the zoo because the zoo's now got penguins. So I'll probably try and knock out my last 5 miles and be done with this challenge. So I will have completed all 4 races and we'll be in for the drawing of the Super Mover Award. So I'm pretty excited. Managed on day 2 of this, Kidder. I walked 9 miles that would have been Wednesday night. So
Good work.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. been a lot of fun. So that is the update. If you're following along, looks like Howard is going to complete all of the 4 challenges. So I'm doing well. Pretty proud of myself.
And I'm proud of you too.
Yeah.
Got to put all this beer somewhere, put it to good use.
Yeah. I will say, my dad did question that I had actually walked that amount of distance because he's a skeptic like that. I saw him just last night because last night, Kidder, we were celebrating my mom's birthday. So
and I didn't get a call, a text, an invite.
No.
Happy birthday, Howard's mom.
Yeah, my dad decided to surprise her. He told her that they were going out to dinner with a dog training friend of his, and he surprised her by actually having arranged for Kate, my wife, Lefty, Junior, and Andrew, my brother, to all be there. So we surprised her.
Wow.
So yeah, it was a good time. It was a good time. Junior was in fine form. So
good or bad?
Oh, it was good. Good. He was being pleasant and funny, and yeah, he was having a good time.
Good.
So, but I said, Kidder, it's been an interesting week. There have been some changes in my work.
Changes in your work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've said it on the show a couple of times. I work for the State Historical Society, and I manage historic sites. This summer, we added basically 2 sites into our portfolio that we manage. So we're up to 59 state historic sites. We added the Lewis and Clark Interpretive Center in Fort Mandan. We collected them from the state park system. Because of that, my boss, my division director, felt that the division of sites between myself and IPA Rob was a little off. And so she asked him to give up a site and for me to take over a site. So I am now managing, Kidder, the 1883 Stutzman County Courthouse in Jamestown. So that started as of like Tuesday this week. And I had my first meeting for a project at the courthouse today. So I was actually in Jamestown today, getting to meet with some of the stakeholders there, with the site supervisor, as we look at putting in an elevator into that building to make it handicap accessible.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's a really cool building, and I won't go into the whole history, but hey, since we have a history with Howard graphic,
history with Howard,
let's throw that in here and give a little history. The courthouse was built in 1883, and in the 1970s, the county commissioners kind of decided that they needed a new building, and so they started looking at building a new building, and basically it would create this huge kind of fight within the town, because they built a new county courthouse and they were going to tear down the old county courthouse and make it a parking lot. And so there was a bit of headbutting throughout the town. This would go to a court case. It's a very long, detailed story, but the short of it is, it would end up in the hands of the State Historical Society. And part of the way the county commissioners and such were able to make the appeal to get a new building was they basically let the old building deteriorate. So we have done, as the State Historical Society, a lot of work to improve the courthouse. I'll throw a couple of pictures into the YouTube version here in this segment so you can see the difference just of the courtroom and such. IPA Rob, my coworker who was the manager before me, just put in a hands-on civics exhibit into that courthouse that, while some people in my agency refuse to say that it's the first, Kidder, it's the first hands-on local level civics exhibit in the nation. I will go on record and say that because it doesn't get that credit, and it should. So it's a very cool facility. And thanks to the pandemic and the need for social distancing, this year, the district court, because their courtrooms are so small, has actually moved court into our building. And they are actually holding court in the original courtroom. So that's a really cool thing. So it's a really cool site. I'm really excited by the potential. There's a lot of stuff left to do with it. And I always liked teaching government when I was in my past life as a teacher. So I'm excited about it. It was a good meeting. Had a lot of fun with it. And I'm very excited for it. So, and if you're ever in Jamestown, check it out. It is a.
And what's the cost on that?
You know what, Kidder? It's a free facility to go and visit. So,
what? It's free? You don't have to pay anything to go in there?
You don't. We do ask that maybe you be so kind as to give a donation. You know, because it helps.
Pandering,
it helps with,
just like this show.
Yeah. Yeah. Give a donation to help us as we continue our projects in there. But it's quite the facility. Very enjoyable. And you know, Kidder, I usually don't eat lunch. I've talked about that on the show. But my division director knows of a pizza place in Jamestown, and she was talking this place up. It's called Johnny B's Brickhouse. And it's only a couple of blocks away from the courthouse. And so she insisted we go there for lunch. Of course, my executive director loves pizza. So he was like, yes, we're going. And I had to break my no lunch thing because they had on the menu a tater tot pizza.
Oh.
Yeah, tater tots, bacon, cheese, and a Cajun ranch sauce.
That sounds really good.
It sounded really good, and I'm like, okay, I have to try this. So I had a glass of 1919 root beer, and I had a tater tot pizza, and Kidder, it was fabulous. So if you're ever in Jamestown, I highly recommend it. Although I will say, plan some time. It was kind of a slow. It's if I had one critique, it was a slow meal. We sat down to eat. I think it was a little after 1, and we didn't get out of there until almost 3. So it was almost a 2-hour thing. So it's slow, but worth it. And has a very, very nice selection of beers on tap. I was reading through that list. I couldn't drink, 1, because I was the driver of the vehicle. 2, I was at work. So no, drinking on the lunch break. But I just wanted to give it a review. But yeah, it's a fantastic pizza place. I might have to try some of their other pizzas. They had some other very tempting, very different and unique pizzas on there. So I might have to go back sometime or stop there sometime when I'm in Jamestown again. So, but
awesome. That sounds good. I'm going to have to put that on the list for the next time I'm in the JMS. I know one place that is my favorite, just up the road, another 35 miles there in Valley City, is the original Pizza Corner.
Mm-hmm.
They still make the original Pizza Corner pizzas with the original recipe, original sauce, original dough, not the sold Bernatello's stuff that you find in the stores. This is the good stuff, man. So something to check out there. Wonderful. Well, we might have to just take a road trip one of these days. You never know.
You know, Kidder, we have been talking that we do need to go up to. Oh, here's the other interesting thing. this week. It also ties it to a site. Kidder, me and my site supervisor at Oscar Zero maybe trying to work and convince some other people in our agency into letting us accept a loan for a helicopter.
All right. Let's do it.
Yep. I believe it's a UH-1 is the particular make of helicopter that we are
Old
looking
school
at.
Huey.
Yeah. So
Sweet.
we're trying. There's some arm twisting that needs to go on, and there's some other details to work out, but we're working on it because we do have a helipad there. It'd be really cool to have a helicopter there. It's been on our wish list for a long time. And the one that we've been offered, and this is offered by the National Museum of the United States Air Force, this particular helicopter was actually a replacement for a helicopter that crashed in Dahlen, North Dakota. So not only is it a helicopter, it's got a North Dakota story, which is awesome, but also would allow us to do some interpretation on that particular helicopter crash. So all that to say, Kidder, I still need to drag you up to Oscar Zero. This is starting to sound like a pretty good road trip, maybe hit Oscar Zero, maybe check out the courthouse, maybe grab some pizza, have a brew. We start kind of got the makings of a road trip going on here, buddy.
I think we're going to have to just twist it a little bit, though. So then on the way there, we stop at either Jimmy B's or Pizza Corner, then Oscar Zero, and then on the way back, stop at the one we didn't stop at, just to make sure that we got both of them in one trip. Just because. Why not?
Yeah. Now all we have to do is convince our wives of this trip.
I'm sure it'll be fine. We'll just
or we have to take them with us.
I mean, I'm sure it'll be fine.
Plus Howie Jr.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Okay. I think I got too much of that marker over here or something. I got stuck in the repeater.
Mm-hmm.
So we here at Triple B are not afraid to bring and discuss topics that involve controversy. Obviously, last week we discussed the plane ride from hell, which I watched the Behind the Ring or Dark Side of the Ring episode on that. And there was a little bit more to that story than even we detailed last week. So we won't waste another 20 minutes on it. But very interesting story to check out. And again, like we discussed last week, all those things still come into play. But I see that you are curious about the controversy with Marvel Crisis Protocol.
Yeah.
You have an update or something? We talked about this previously.
We haven't talked about it previously. The reason it has the word update in it is because, to give it this way, Marvel Crisis Protocol is a skirmish war game produced by Atomic Mass Games. And recently they've been doing some updates to the game, and it's got their community a little divided, Kidder, on a couple of things. So
interesting.
Yeah. Marvel Crisis Protocol, it's a really interesting game and system where you get to build a team of either superheroes or supervillains. And as I said, it's a skirmish battle system. Atomic Mass Games is made up of a lot of people and designers and artists that I like from another company called Privateer Press, who left a couple of years ago now and have gone into this and created their own company and venture. In fact, I actually have, if you see that really glowing bright blue box behind me, I actually own a little bit of Marvel Crisis Protocol. That's a box of terrain. So it's got basically a coffee shop, a dumpster, a couple of cars, some cool pieces. Anyway, so let's talk about there's actually kind of like 3 things that the community has been about. The first is the company announced, and let's share some screens.
Little scat man. Scat it, Howard finds a screen. It's gonna share the screen. Howard's gonna share the screen. Scat it, I think that marker really did a number on me. I'm over here scatting, man. This is,
ladies and gentlemen, I think we have lost the Mark Hitter.
But where did he go?
Come on.
Maybe no, it's not, because I'm almost halfway through the second beer.
Yeah, give me a sec. We're having a few technical difficulties. So, there it is. And all right. So the first kind of part of this controversy involves, and this kind of came out a little bit before. The company announced that they were going to start doing these rival packs. And the first one that they had is the one that I have up on the screen, which is this set here, Spider-Man versus Dr. Octopus. It comes with 2 figures, this lovely set of, well, it's a display base, but you could also probably use it as some terrain, such. The reason that this kicked off some controversy is these were 2 characters that have already been released. Part of Atomic Mass Games' thought was, hey, these are more dynamic sculpts. So you can see Doc Ock and Spider-Man there. If I do this, there's the original Dr. Octopus sculpt. So you can see it's a lot better than the previous Doc Ock sculpt, and there's the previous Spider-Man. The reason that people got upset is that this Spider-Man on the set is actually the 4th sculpt of Spider-Man that this company has done. And you might go, well, what's to be upset about that? But you have a lot of these people who are like, we've already got Spider-Man. This is the 4th time. There are so many other characters. Why do we have to have another Spider-Man? So,
I mean, I'll be honest, I've been asking that about the movies for about 15 years, but that's just me. I'm not a Spider-Man fan. I'm just not. Sorry. I like the Marvel stuff for the most part.
Yeah, so
that was cool.
Yeah, this is the Miles Morales Spider-Man. That's there. I think here's the other one that they have with Spider-Man swinging around a antenna off of the tail. Yeah, so they've done some different poses and such with it. Spider-Man is still, to this day, the #1 selling hero in Marvel Comics. So it makes sense why they would do so many Spider-Mans. But yeah, there's been a little bit of controversy about that. So that was kind of the first controversy that came up with this.
Or is that just because of insider trading? Really, Spider-Man's the most sold because they make the most of him.
Spider-Man has always sold well, and it's sold well really for a couple of things. One, it's since he was around, Spider-Man was kind of one of the first like teenage heroes. There had always been teenage sidekicks, but this was a teenage hero. So here he is, a teenager trying to balance being a teenager, which anybody could tell you is difficult, with trying to be a hero. So because of that, he's always related a lot more to kind of the kids and such, which is part of the reason he sells well. The other part is he's got just a phenomenal rogues gallery. Spider-Man villains are some of the best villains in the Marvel kind of whole universe. So that's why he's a big name character and does so well. Anyway, so this was the first part of the controversy. Another Spider-Man sculpt. Well, then Atomic Mass Games had their mini extravaganza, and really two things came out of it. The first was that they're going to go back and fix some of the original characters that they put out when they released the game, because they have found that as they've added new characters, there's been power creep, rule changes, things like that, and some of their original characters are no longer viable in the game. So they're trying to fix that. And some people got a little upset with some of those changes. That's a pretty minor controversy. That always happens. Move on. But here, Kidder, this is the one I think you will really sink your teeth into. The other big controversy that came out of their mini extravaganza was they changed the design, the graphic design of the cards that come in the game.
Okay.
So here's the original card style. Okay. It is a profile layout. Has basically kind of all the stats and all the special abilities. The new card style looks like this.
Oh boy. Oh no.
It is the same size. It is now just a layout. It's gone from portrait to landscape. And they've done a few things to make it easier to read. Pretty minor changes, really, if you ask me. But Kidder, there are people who are actively calling these cards the ugliest and worst cards in any game ever with these changes.
I believe it.
Yeah. I think they look better, truthfully. I don't know what your expert take is, but
I mean, from a card, because this is a game, right? Like it's part
Correct.
of a game. From a game standpoint, I think having the profile versus the portrait version is more commonplace, but also more, I don't know, more of an easy time to play, because you get these portrait ones and they're nice. You can hold them, but the landscape ones obviously harder to hold and look at. I will give it that the font is much better on the new version, and the titling much better.
Yeah, and I will tell you, Kidder, these are mostly for reference, so it's not like you're holding them in a hand.
Oh, okay.
You would have them just laid out on.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it's so for like gameplay, they're laying out on a table so you can look down and reference them. So it's not like you have to hold them as a hand of cards. So I don't know if that changes.
So I don't know why there's a big deal. Put them portrait or horizontal in the picture. I don't care. Just make it landscape. Just done. This one looks way better than the last one. You can't even read that. I mean, I get what they're going for.
Yeah.
Still,
that was the big reason for the change. Was this card the portrait style was harder to read than this. This is easier to read. And the company has actually said we went with this one because it's easier for us to produce this in other languages, but two, it's easier for people to read, especially those who are colorblind. So good calls, you would think. However, when they said we're doing this to help people who are colorblind, yes, all the people who are colorblind are like, yay, thank you, I can read these. Apparently, though, and I didn't know this, but I've learned this since, that if you are dyslexic, sometimes certain colors on top of each other can affect your ability to read with dyslexia. So people who were dyslexic looked at this and were like, no, this is horrible. I can't read it now.
Oh, boy.
So it's one of those things, Kidder. I mean, this is to me, it's a quality of life change. And did it need to get, I mean, does it deserve the comment ugliest cards in the world? No. You know, I don't believe that one iota. So that has been the controversy. I've been kind of laughing at people as they argue about cards. And really, as I said, I've looked at them. I think the new versions look great. And really the only difference is their landscape and a few things to make it easier to read. And I can appreciate that. So I just had to share that with you. I don't like to bash on my hobby and gamers, but sometimes we are just a bit too particular about things. And all it does is give others reasons to kind of make fun of us for our hobby. I mean, as I said to my wife, we are a group, a community, a part of society that likes to take and play with little plastic men and pretend they're superheroes going pow, wham, bam, kablowie. Why are we arguing about the looks of a card? I just don't get it. So anyway, it's controversy I've been following, and it's just amazing. And I mentioned Privateer Press. They did a whole thing here. Actually, it was yesterday. Thursday was the big announcement. They've been hinting at for a couple of months now this big announcement that was coming that was going to change the face of their two of their games, War Machine and Hordes. And they made that announcement, and it was really that they announced kind of the same thing. We're going to rebalance a lot of things. And they were so bold as to go, we're changing a lot of models. Here's our first list that we're putting out and sharing with you. This is the nerf list. This is everything we've nerfed. And I have yet to see an angry comment about this. I like that community. Everybody's just like, okay, this is fair. This is fair. It's just like, wow. So at least that's the comments. There might have been something I missed, but it's just a complete difference where you have one group where people are like, well, yep, you took some of my models and made them worse, but I'm okay with that because it's going to make for a better game, versus you changed the layout on my card. Flip the table.
This is done. Done. Yeah.
So,
yep.
Yeah.
I agree. I feel it. I hear you.
Yeah.
How's your beer coming along?
Pretty well. I've been doing a lot of talking, not a lot of drinking.
Yeah.
Trying to change that.
Just wondering for an update there, like, is it good? Still good? Getting better?
Good.
Worse?
I'm enjoying it. Enjoying it the same.
Do you need a little extra scent? Work this in there?
No.
Just wondering if
I don't need the Magnum.
It's still lingering.
Oh, I would have been okay with you if you hadn't opened it. I mean, I was already laughing. You didn't need to do it.
I know, but it's the shit I do for you. So there you go.
I appreciate it.
Sacrificing myself and my personal well-being and health just for you and to get a damn joke across.
The things we do for content.
I know. Hopefully people start liking this show. Hey, speaking of liking this show, not only can you find us online at beerbluesbs.com, but you can also click on the merch button. There's some new merch available right there on the website. Just click merch at beerbluesbs.com. Check that out because there might be something that you want to add to your closet, add to your collection. Maybe a glass. You can have a Beer Blues BS pint glass and drink with us. So if you got one, hey, cheers to you. Thanks for joining the show. So that thing's just lingering. I hold on. Okay. The Magnum lives. Okay. I don't know. I might die. I'm not sure yet, but let's try and continue. Let's continue this thing. I do have breaking news, but I want to save it for a little bit. It's a teaser.
You can't keep calling breaking news and then not break the news, okay? Listen.
Do you want the news now?
Well, listen, I'm just going to tell you, if you're going to keep saying we have breaking news coming up, I'm pretty sure Howard the Ref's eventually going to come on this show and be like, no, foul, you can't do that. It's not breaking news then.
So the real question, has Howard the Ref visited all of the major news networks to tell them to stop doing that because it's wrong? No? Howard hasn't left the state in a while.
Okay. Pandemic, man. Pandemic.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The pandemic. All right.
Pandemic. He's, listen, I mean, the guy basically is already self-quarantining, let's face it. He was self-quarantined for years before pandemic was even a thing. In fact, I'm pretty sure that he only really came out of retirement for this show, and even then, only really as a gimmick and a joke. So, yeah. Man,
that's mean to say of Howard. You're just calling him a joke. Jeez. You're vicious. Must be something in that Scotch beer.
It's one of those things. You ever notice that Howard Blues and Howard the Ref are never in the same place at the same time? I don't have to worry about this.
Where did Spider-Man go? He's not here either anymore. This is ridiculous. I demand a recount. This is crap. All right. How about this? Breaking news! Let's just do it. Here it is. All right. I have breaking news as of 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago at this point. The Doctor Who realm, at least in my world, is celebrating. Why, might you ask? Howard Blues, why?
I don't know.
Well, Chris Chibnall, who's been the showrunner for a few years now, is departing the series. I think you and I have discussed that off the show at some point.
Yeah.
This also coincides with Jodie Whittaker, the 13th Doctor, exiting the role as part of the tradition of being a Doctor for X number of years, like 3 seasons worth, essentially, and then leaving the show. So, today, as in 3 weeks ago when you're watching or listening to this, the BBC has announced breaking news that following Chris Chibnall's "get the hell out of here because you screwed up Doctor Who," Russell T Davies returns to the showrunner chair of Doctor Who and bringing hopefully back the good Who that you and I have so enjoyed over the past year, almost 20 years since the new Who came out. And on top of it, in 2023 is Doctor Who's 60th anniversary. And so he will come back into the role before the 60th. I'm hoping that it's an even bigger and better 60th than it was for the 50th, which, you and I discussed back, a few years ago about it. But, I mean, where do we go from here? Russell T Davies back in the Who, man.
Yeah. I think it'll be good. He has done a fantastic job of casting that role of Doctor Who, and has a very good sense for storytelling.
Just for the reference, as I'm sure that's what you were getting to with part of this, but Russell T Davies is essentially the one who brought Doctor Who back to television with Christopher Eccleston, and David Tennant brought him into the show. My favorite Doctor. Obviously, the best Doctor. So that's a side note. People are calling for David Tennant to be brought back in as the Doctor. And I'm like, why not? Let's do it. I mean, he's 20 years older. Not quite, but let's just do it. Two spin-off shows, Torchwood and the Sarah Jane Adventures. Yeah. So Howard is displeased at the 10th Doctor returning.
Well, it's not that. There was something so well done about Tennant's exiting the show. I mean, it's not that you can't bring him back. You did such a lovely exit with him. I kind of would be, it would be a tough thing to ever top. I don't mind if he reappears like they actually did for the 50th, where it was kind of, where they did the 3 Doctors. That, fine. That I would be okay with. I just don't, it's like so much of him, that story was, has kind of been closed, if that makes sense. And
sure.
It would just
remember. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Well,
leg is getting us.
Yeah. I kind of did pause. I was just going to say, it would be. I was trying to think of what's a great example of another character who, the story arc was so good and so complete that it would just be bad if you brought him back. I was trying to think of another great example of that. But that would be my big fear, is if you've told such a good story and a complete arc with a character, and then you bring them back, you kind of cheapen that original run. It's kind of like some of these remakes that they're doing now, or these reboots where it's like, hey, here's this old show you loved, here we're bringing it back, even though we've done all this closure and such, and it was great. Here it is. You need more of this. And I'm just, I don't. If you went out on a good note, stay gone. And it's not that I don't think Tennant could play the role and rock the role and do amazing. I feel like they've told his doctor story so well. I'd fear that they bring him back into that and then it's not as good.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm disappointed. So that's my take. I mean,
Sure. I will say that remember there's the doctor clone, if you will, that isn't the doctor. It's the tenant who is living out there with Rose.
Yeah, I mean, and they could do something with that, and I'd be fine with it.
Mm-hmm.
I just fear this idea of like him coming back and hey, it's the 10th Doctor back. You know, that's where I would have some kind of issue. I think with
Robbledy, wobbly, griminy, griminy.
Yeah. So, and it'll also be interesting. I mean, Russell T Davies' run on it was good, but I think it also helped. I know you're not going to probably agree with me on this.
Moffat!
That's exactly where I was going with it. Some of the best episodes of the Russell T Davies run are Stephen Moffat episodes. You know, when you think of episodes like Blink, that's one. The Library is another one. I mean, The Girl in the Fireplace is another one. You know, Moffat wrote some amazing episodes for Tennant in the Russell T Davies greater storyline. So that'd be interesting. That's not to say that Russell T Davies didn't write some amazing episodes. I mean, I think everybody enjoyed Bad Wolf and that storyline.
Was just going to say all the interwoven Bad Wolf, everything, everywhere. And once you're past that point and have watched it, and then you go back and watch again, you're like, holy crap, it's everywhere. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, Davies was good at that. Moffat was good at that. I mean, Moffat's first series with the 11th Doctor actually was very good. I know not a lot of people like the 11th Doctor. Some people think he's a bit too goofy, and I
think just me.
Yeah.
A lot of people like Matt Smith as the 11th Doctor. I'm okay with him. It's fine.
Yeah, Matt Smith, I think would be absolutely fine. Like I don't hate him. It's not my favorite. Don't hate him. I think where I got a little tired of it was I feel like Moffat had a very good, like one very good season. Like that first one was really good, really sharp writing, and then he tried to do it again, and it got worse. And then by like the third one, he was just taking interesting titles and making up episodes. I know he did that. He said it in an interview where he's like, "Dinosaurs on a spaceship. Let's make an episode about that."
I've been waiting for it. I didn't want to ruin it. I was holding back so much. Dinosaurs on a spaceship. Why?
Now, the idea could be quite detailed, or the idea could be a title.
Dinosaurs on a spaceship.
Dinosaurs on a spaceship. That was it.
Yeah, that's where he jumped the shark. You know, as I said, first season,
very
well written, and then he tried to reproduce it, and then got to the point where it's just dinosaurs on a spaceship. He's also one of the ones that started the whole like, we need to like continually age the Doctor. You know, so it's like, and he's, you know, stood there and fought for Christmas for 1,000 years. It's like, why? Why? I mean, he started it. It continued into like the Capaldi era where it's like, and the Doctor punched through this wall for 1,000,000 years. It's like,
and just remember that he stuck around for most of the Capaldi stuff.
He did. I liked Capaldi too, but again, yeah, that's where we're starting to see that just he was running out of steam.
Right. And I wish somebody else would have come in and taken over to finish with Capaldi or have Capaldi continue, because he was fantastic as the Doctor. The eyes, there's that. But
it took him a while to find the role. Like it took him a while to really get into it, and then he was off. But I mean that's the challenge, I think, for anybody stepping into that Doctor role. Matt
or is
Smith,
it bad writing?
Little of A, little of B. Because I think you're trying to shape what that Doctor is, and I think I'd like to say that the first episodes are kind of loosely written to kind of let the actor kind of help set that tone, and then they can kind of like they click. Like if you watch Tenet's first episode, it's not great. It was kind of weak, but I think that the writing took some keys off of his performance and his take on the Doctor, and it just got better and better and better and better and better. And I saw that happen with Capaldi. Like the first bit was rough, and then they kind of found the voice of his Doctor, and it went. Matt Smith, they were a little bit better on. Like they
were all over the place with him.
But I think that was Matt Smith's portrayal. Like I think he wanted to be more of the zany Doctor, like a Sylvester McCoy Doctor, much more out there, much more zany. Where like Tenet is much more of a Tom Baker style, where it's that aloof, that goofiness, but it's hiding a very sharp intelligence and a very mean and vicious temper and such. And that's why I think, like, I'm a big Tom Baker fan. I love his episodes, and him and Tenet are very close to me. Eccleston's kind of the same way. I wish they would have done more with his Doctor.
In the TV sense.
Yeah, I didn't mind Eccleston. I just don't like, he didn't quite get the epic story run that some of the others have gotten, because Eccleston was only there for a season.
Not even.
Yeah. So Eccleston is also one of those guys I would love to see play James Bond. Just going to throw that out there.
That'd be interesting. I think, jumping onto that topic real quick, I think that he's unfortunately too old for the role at this point. I mean, just because he has to be older than why can't I think of his name right now? The current portrayal of James Bond.
Daniel Craig.
Gosh. I need more sleep at night or something.
Yeah, Daniel Craig.
Thank you. Yes. Leave me hanging.
so Daniel Craig is 53 years old.
Okay.
And then
Stats man on the fly.
Yeah, give me a sec. Eccleston is actually 57, so he's only 4 years older.
Okay. Maybe it's just because he grew out his beard and it's all gray and stuff. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, I just saw that photo of him. And that is he definitely has a beard. He's changed.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you that.
I mean, he is very youthful looking in the Who. Doctor Who. Oh, here we go. Yep. And he's got the beard compared to the old Doctor days. I mean, I liked the action Doctor. the on-the-run Doctor. We're doing things Doctor. And yeah, I mean, his time was cut short, I feel. It's kind of a little bit of a heart wrench for me, because then it led to David Tennant taking over, and now it's my 3.5 seasons of Doctor Who that I love. And I got they finally came out with the Blu-ray set of the David Tennant collection. So now I have because they came out with the first season in the US of the New Who with Christopher Eccleston as the main point. And then they didn't come out with any of the rest.
Yeah.
So then they came out with the David Tennant collection, and I'm like, finally! Because now I have the rest, basically seasons 2, 3, and 4, and I already had the specials on Blu-ray. So, gotta watch those yet. But, all right. The only thing that I wanted to end this topic on was that Jodie Whittaker, who's, again, the 13th Doctor, and she has some really good moments, but the writing is terrible. I hate it.
You know, I haven't watched any of her performance. I've been off of Who for a while. Not that I dislike Who or anything like that. But again, no cable. So I don't really have a source for Doctor Who right now. I used to come down and, I mean, Lefty and I came down and watched with you all the time. And let's face it, I've gotten too busy to try and keep up with that. So I kind of dropped off mid Capaldi. We'd come down for like the Christmas special and some of those. So I've seen some of them. But yeah, I've been off of Who for quite a while. Haven't really seen anything of the Jodie Whittaker run. But from what I hear, it has suffered from some really terrible writing. And so I'm kind of okay with I've missed most of it. So nothing against her. I think she's a fantastic actress. But if you are given nothing but garbage, it's hard. I actually watched Kidder a YouTube video of somebody breaking down like her first episode. And yeah, it was enough where I was like, I'm kind of okay if I've missed most of this. You know, it's like, oh, ooh. And again, you can sometimes only do so much with what you're given. And I just, from everything I hear, the scripts just haven't been good and just haven't been interesting. So
they're more of the let's cry for social justice, let's over the top, shove it down your throat, let's shove this kind of the story writing we've talked about for various shows in recent times. It's like over the top, specifically, let's bring this out because I have a meaning that I feel is important, and you know what? I have a medium to shove it down your throat, and so I'm going to do that. There's been some brilliant moments, and she really tries to act through it. I mean, it wasn't a Christmas special this year. It was on New Year's Day, if I remember correctly, but it was a holiday special. Can't have a Christmas special anymore because it's got to be a holiday special. But I don't know. I'm frustrated in that she is such a great actor, and the things that she could do, like if we took back in time, because the timey-wimey thing, put her instead of David Tennant as the 10th Doctor, she would have done probably just as well as David Tennant did being put in that role. Because the stories weren't, I gotta club you over the head with social justice and right and wrong and gender equality and this and that. You don't have to talk about that all the time. If you want to have an episode here and there about different things, or maybe, you know what? There's just two characters who live in here who like each other, no matter what their race or their sex, and they just get along and they have their own relationship, and that is what it is. Even the main character and somebody else. Whatever. You explore that briefly, boom, there it is. It shows up here and there. It's part of the storyline. Nope, here's 60 minutes that I'm going to bash you over the head with this topic. I mean, why? Oh, I have a medium to do it, and I feel it's a social justice cause. Well, calm down. I mean, you can write about other things. Clearly, you can write about dinosaurs on a spaceship. So there's other things that you can write about. Like the holiday special was very interesting this year. The doctor's finally caught and is sentenced for all of her quote-unquote crimes across time, and she is sent to prison. Crazy, right? How does she get out of prison? What happens? She's in a cell next to a weeping angel. And she's in a cell next to a member of the Silence. Who are they? Well, go check out Doctor Who. Start it from the new Who Series 1 if you really want to get an introduction to Doctor Who. And then if you really like that, check out the old Who, if you were. Skip around to some of the doctors and see what they did back in the day. I mean, it's just an introduction. And there's so much Who out there.
Yeah. Well, and, you know, it's one of those things. I believe I'm the one that introduced you to Doctor Who.
Yes.
Because I grew up with, like, Doctor Who was the crazy, weird sci-fi show that was on, like, PBS at, like, midnight. So I saw it as a kid. And at that time, they were doing Tom Baker episodes. So I had a knowledge of who Doctor Who was, and had seen some episodes when, you know, you stayed up late and it's like, what on earth is this trippy thing? I only had like 2 channels. The others are infomercials. What is this thing? And I have then kind of sought out and found bits and pieces of it. But then, yeah, it was in college. I started watching the Tenant kind of runs. The Sci-Fi Channel had the rights to show them and would do marathons of them. And I started watching and those and got you hooked on it and such. So, yeah. But that's why I say, like, I like Tom Baker. I've gone back and watched some of those old series. I tried to show you some of those. I know sometimes, like, the special effects on the old Doctor Who, they were doing the best they could, but, you know,
they're out there. That's for sure.
It's clearly sometimes where the monster is clearly a guy in a cardboard box with, like, dryer venting hosing for arms. I mean, if you've ever wondered why the Daleks have a plunger for an arm, what do we got?
Hey, speaking of that, to victory! Exterminate! There it is.
Yeah.
And there, since it's showing, there's the crest right there. Figure, since it's right there. It's usually behind me, but there it is.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to throw out a quick thing, too, since you mentioned the old Who and watching the old Who. For free, go to Pluto TV. Just search Pluto TV. And I don't think you even have to create an account to watch their services, but it's like a TV network. There's apps for your phone, for your smart devices, and obviously you can watch it through a browser, but Pluto TV, there's a Doctor Who channel, and it shows just the old Who. And they show them all back to back to back to back to back. I think there's some commercials in there. but it's all of the old Who episodes. So you can see, just like how he was talking about there with Tom Baker and the Jelly Babies and things like that, and the scarf and everything. So check that out, Pluto TV. Just a quick cheap plug for them. They also have a Star Trek channel, FYI. So fantastic. Before we move off of the Doctor Who topic, Jodie Whittaker again leaving the series in 2022. According to the article from the BBC and part of the information they released today, is that, well, first of all, Russell T Davies has to decide who's the new Doctor, who takes over for Jodie Whittaker. And as we know, it's very secretive. Nobody knows about it aside from pretty much the Doctor, Russell T Davies, or the other showrunners, and maybe one or two other people. It's crazy how they do that. So that's one thing. And then number two, there's one more 6-part series and 3 2022 specials that will be released. So it doesn't specifically say, but part of it does, that he resumes his role as the show prepares the 60th anniversary in 2023. So it kind of sounds like you and I are going to go on another dry spell waiting for more Doctor Who. But we'll just have to see how it goes. So there's your breaking news Who update for this episode of the Triple B. So thanks. How about we talk about something more familiar to the viewers or listeners of this podcast, and that'll be wrestling. How about it?
Well, yeah.
Or did you have something to add?
No, I gotta have nothing to add.
Okay.
I was just looking at the run sheet. I see we have that you want to talk about both promotions.
Well, I added that in there partially so we don't forget, but I wanted to just mention it.
Okay.
Because it's Sunday. So then the thought becomes, maybe at the point of this episode's released, it's back in time where we released a special edition Extreme Rules pay-per-view show. You froze. You froze it like this. So I don't know if you're trying to punch me in the face or feel like that's a good idea. I don't know.
It was a good idea because
Okay.
I do kind of like with the pay-per-views getting that info out sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
So.
And it's fun to, and then there it is. We get it out. So. Yeah. Let's discuss night 1 of the Grand Slam for All Elite Wrestling, and that is Dynamite. That happened Wednesday.
I was just going to say, Kidder, just to interrupt, because episode 25 came out tonight as we're recording this. And in there, we were talking about AEW, and I had mentioned that every now and then that AEW builds to kind of these almost pay-per-view quality shows, but it's on TNT. And this is the first time you've gotten to check out one of these special TV offerings. So I just wanted to throw that out there to also say, I'm really interested to hear what you think of this and this kind of interesting format of breaking away from a little bit the regular show format and doing just on regular TV, basically a pay-per-view level event. So I am really curious, but I wanted to throw that out there, what this was very quickly. Now I'm going to go back to drinking this very clearly Smirnoff lemonade that you gave me months ago.
Not quite 12 ounces, if I remember correctly.
You'd be correct. Like 11.2. Like Not even close.
You got an eighth of an ounce stolen from you. That's why I like to bring that up every time. So, first thing, my reaction to the show, holy shit. Yeah, I said it. They opened the show with Bryan Danielson and Kenny Omega. Wasn't even a title match. It was just, I'm going to fight you, Kenny Omega, because you're a dick. Okay. 30-minute time limit. They kicked each other's asses all over the place. Bryan Danielson and Kenny Omega were exchanging chops back and forth. So it was halfway through the match, and Bryan Danielson's chest, like his whole chest, looked like the countertop behind you. Like he was basically bleeding out of his chest. Not quite, but I mean, it's gotta hurt.
Yeah.
Some freaking awesome moves. Looked like he was going to have his neck ripped in half several times from these moves. Absolute A+ match. 30, I'm like, 1 minute remaining, 30 seconds remaining, and they're still beating the hell out of each other. I'm like, this is going to draw. This is going to draw. Ding, 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 ding. And they're still beating the crap out of each other. Ding, 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 ding. Yep. And all the zebras come out and separate them. But yeah, a draw. 30-minute match. Absolute hell of a match. Up, down, back and forth. Great quality match. And that started the show.
And what did you think of the whole draw? Because that doesn't really happen in WWE. If you're going to get a draw, a tie, it's usually something stupid like a double count out. Mm-hmm. So I'm curious what you thought of this, because this is one of those things that AEW does different than WWE. Every match has a time limit. And it's announced, at the beginning of each match, the next match scheduled for 20 minutes. Yeah. So I just was kind of curious, Kidder, what you thought of kind of a time limit draw on something like this. That wasn't, because as originally WWE fans and kind of growing up with that, again, you only got a draw in a double count out or some screwy finish like that, or like an Iron Man match is the only time that you really got to the limits of things. And even then they're going to sudden death. So I'm just kind of curious what your thoughts were on this idea of matches that can go to a draw.
Well, I tell you what there, Howie Blues, kind of pissed me off because I'm like, it's got to finish. But then I'm like, you know what? It has to be that way because what happens now? They have a feud. They're going to kick each other's asses all over the place here and there and maybe for the title, and we'll see what happens from there. And there's a bigger feud because after the match, all of who the hell are they? Kenny Omega's friends, the elite. They all came down and they beat the hell out of Bryan Danielson, and then Christian Cage came out with some of the other members that they're associated with, and kind of tried back and forth, whatever. So there was a little bit of those shenanigans going on. So in the terms of like watching and wanting it, I really wanted to see a finish, whether I'd be disappointed or not. But a draw, nobody lost. So on to the next show, pay-per-view, title run, whatever the case is. So it's different, and I'll give them that.
Yeah, I think that's the interesting thing is they're going to use this to build, because now you want to see, you want to finish between these guys, and you're going to have the Kenny Omega fans and the Bryan Danielson fans bickering over who was better, who was winning that match. And it gets people now interested to see the next time these guys meet. So, which might be the next pay-per-view. So the next quarter, they have some time. And that's where, again, factions, Kidder, factions. You're seeing factions collide. You could have these guys once again tie up in this faction warfare, and that's okay. You can still save these guys for a big event or the next one of these kind of specials. You might even see it. So, yeah, I like it as a storytelling element. It, to me, it's good. I like it.
Yeah, me too. So let's go on to the next match. MJF, and that's Maxwell Jacob Friedman. I could say something, but I'll save that. He just kind of there's something up with him. Versus Brian Pillman Jr. This match was pretty good, especially after watching the story of Brian Pillman and seeing Brian Pillman Jr. in the story on Dark Side of the Ring. This one, again, like I said, not too bad of a match. MJF coming out on top and doing some wonderful work as a heel. He is definitely good in driving that heat. People just love to hate him. So that was the second match. Third match was Malachi Black and my son Cody Rhodes. My son Cody Rhodes is coming down to the ring, and Cody Rhodes elevated out of the ring, and he's wearing the red, white, blue American Dream sort of ring apparel there. And then that's right, Brandy Rhodes, she came out too, and then Arn Anderson, the enforcer, was over there, and they came down to the ring. Sorry, went a little dusty there. This match was good. They week ago, as of this recording, beat the hell out of each other up through the crowd, and match was pretty good, but it was quick, and Malachi Black picked up the victory to big surprise to Cody Rhodes' return, and of course what everybody thought was going to happen.
Yeah. Just for your knowledge, Kidder, because I know a little bit more predating your following AEW. Malachi Black in his debut match against Cody Rhodes squashed him. Like, it was a 2 to 5 minute match. Like, Malachi Black just squashed Cody Rhodes. This one went a little bit longer, and as one commentator pointed out that I was listening to, you actually saw towards the end of the match, you started to see Cody starting to figure out Malachi Black and start to have some actual decent offense. So I would bet you're going to get a third match out of this, and I would say you're going to get Cody to win, and that they're telling this story of Malachi Black comes in, crushes him. Next time, Cody gets a bit better. Third time, Cody is able to pull it off. But that's an example of decent and good and subtle storytelling that helps tell a bigger story. So I just wanted to point that out because I thought that's the kind of stuff you won't find in the WWE, at least not anymore. So,
yeah. I mean, that was like a 3 to 5 minute match. It was very short. Yeah. And like I said, Arn Anderson was out there. Brandy Rhodes was out there. Brandy Rhodes was kind of doing a little, what did JR say? Directing. That what JR used to say. Little diversion tactic. But, Malachi Black picking up the win there. Next match, tag team match. FTR. Formerly the Revival, we'll say it for our family-friendly rating, against Sting and Darby Allin. Of course, Darby Allin, got to see him in CM Punk's first return or match returning on pay-per-view. And this was a hell of a match too. FTR brought out, and I just blanked, his Tully Blanchard. So Tully Blanchard has been kind of a manager to FTR, or a valet, I guess. And he was out there along with Sting and Darby Allin. Sting had a little bit of shenanigans with him because they go way back to the pre-WCW days. Sting and Darby Allin pick up the victory here. Good finish on it. Sting putting the submission on and Darby Allin doing the coffin drop. So some good action there. There's an interview or a promo from CM Punk getting people amped up for tonight's episode of Rampage live as a part of the second night of the Grand Slam, a 2-hour live episode of Rampage. His first television wrestling match in 7 years against a member of Team Taz.
Uh-huh. I did want to jump back just one bit of stuff I've been hearing about the FTR Sting Darby Allin.
Mm-hmm.
There was some people who were complaining that FTR should not have been in this position to lose to Sting and Darby Allin. Like, you should have put another tag team in it. But I did hear some others who said, actually, they're a great team to be in here to guarantee that it was a good match and to help, elevate Sting and Darby Allin. So I just want to put that in there, that there's been some kind of back and forth within those armchair bookers who sit here and they should be booking it like this, and I was the guy in charge, we'd be doing this, and just to throw that out there, because I know every now and then we like to talk a little bit about the controversy and people talking about stuff. So I just want to throw that out there.
Controversy, yes.
So CM Punk actually with his promo, and he said it in the promo, but it is actually true. Like, he was supposed to come out as mean, angry CM Punk. From all reports, he was actually supposed to come out fired up and pissed off. And when his music hit and the crowd popped and all of that, he had a hard time being mean and angry. Like, he did it very well. Like, he changed his promo to better reflect kind of that change of heart and all of that. I actually watched his promo.
Wow.
Yeah. I try and catch a few highlights and snippets here and there because I know you're watching AEW. So I like to be able to, chat back and forth and at least know some stuff.
Have a conversation. That's
have
very
a
nice
conversation. Which is why I've been having stuff to add to all this stuff, even though
you didn't get to see the whole thing, yeah.
I didn't get to watch any of this. This is all me kind of
spitballing. He's spitballing.
This is me all reading reports and listening to commentators and all of this. So I'm like, I can talk intelligently about this.
This one person said something.
That's why. Listen, if I can't watch the show, I might as well research it so that I have some knowledge of what happened and all of that. So
I'll just have to forward a bunch more clips of the show over to you, like I did last time.
That's all right. I can find them.
I know. You're an adult who knows how to use the internet. I know. I will say, though, that FTR came out. Their trunks were the NWO style of the spray paint box and an FTR. Yeah. It's just funny. After that one, the main event for the evening, the AEW Women's World Championship. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, versus Ruby Soho. This one, I honestly thought Ruby was going to come in and not steamroll Britt Baker, but really just lay the bricks to her and then get the title. That would have been the WWE thinking and the WWE mentality of it. What did they do? Had a great match, and Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, picks up the victory for the main event. And that's all, folks. Thank you for joining us for AEW Dynamite Grand Slam. We'll see you again coming up this Friday for AEW Rampage right here on TNT. Good night, everybody.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, Kidder, this one had kind of a screwy finish, and it was not by no means a clean finish.
Correct. Yes, it wasn't a DQ finish. It was a pin finish. But yes, Britt Baker had two of her clan mates, or shall we say stable mates, with her. Yes, they were there. There was some shenanigans and chair shot, I believe, or some stupid thing. And so, yes.
Yeah, I bring this up because, again, the one bit of commentary and such that I've been hearing about this was there are some people out there who would have liked to have seen Britt Baker win this clean, just to help raise the prestige of the title. Champions can build prestige for their titles by who they fight and how they win. And when you're Britt Baker and you're just having kind of these non-clean finishes all the time, that doesn't make you a great champion, right? You need to actually pin some people clean to do it. And so that's the one commentary thing that I heard on this, was that there were some people who wanted to just see her win a match clean and elevate her title and put a bit more prestige on it. So I just wanted to share that. That's what I'm hearing around the interwebs. So
overall, watching this and a portion of All Out, the actual pay-per-view, both on the same level of quality and sportsmanship. The arena or ring was a little bit weird because how they had it set up, the ramp goes flush with the ring. And I'm like, why?
They've done that a couple of times in places. It's not
I get
the
it's
first time
different.
they've done that. Yeah.
It's different. Takes away the crowd interaction to, the whole high-fiving on the way down and like, look at this sign or whatever. Like, it kills that for me. Oh, hey, he finished the pink lemonade. That's so basic of you. That's just basic.
Yeah. And I didn't, again, see anything of it, but I think where, yes, you're right, it cuts down on some of the fan interaction. I think it allows them every now and then to do some different spots. So it kind of all gets down to how they use it. So
there was a lot of that. So I did appreciate how it was different.
Yeah. So no, it sounds like you enjoyed it, and it'll be interesting to hear what you think of Rampage, and maybe that has already been covered in a special bonus episode of Extreme Rules. We already talked about it.
Might already be there
at this point.
Check it out.
At this point, Future Howard has probably put something up here to go. Yeah, go check it out.
Just go check that thing out. I don't know why we're talking like this. Because that's what we do about being shady about the future.
Yep. Anyway.
Quick preview of Extreme Rules. A preview of the episode, the bonus episode that is already out, but is now being talked about because timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly. Why not? Becky Lynch, current champion, against Bianca Belair for the singles rematch for the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship. Also, Damian Priest, the current United States champion, against Jeff Hardy, against Sheamus. A triple threat match for the WWE United States Championship. Next on the card, Charlotte Flair, the current champion, against Alexa Bliss. A singles match for the WWE Raw Women's Championship. Then moving along to Roman Reigns, the current champion, with Paul Heyman against the Demon, Finn Balor. An Extreme Rules match at Extreme Rules, the pay-per-view for the WWE Universal Championship.
Also the only match with a stipulation.
Mm-hmm.
For the one night, the WWE goes extreme. For one match.
Why not? Have a whole pay-per-view. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You might as well,
match. Might as well what?
You might as well call it Judgment Day, or Payback, or Capital Punishment, or Bad Blood.
No Way Out.
Yeah. But to call it Extreme Rules so that they can use that stupid tagline of the one night WWE goes extreme, and there's one match with a stipulation.
Stupid match. The next match listed on this card, the Usos, Jimmy and Jay, who are the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, against the Street Profits, that is Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford. A tag team match for the WWE SmackDown Tag Team Champions of the World. So we'll have to see. And then, what is more extreme than a one-on-one regulation singles match? Liv Morgan versus Carmella. Regulation. So we'll see what happens there. Your preview coming up in the past, because it's already happened in your world, watching this, listening to this, because it's already out as a bonus episode. So make sure you check that out if you haven't seen it. Then you can find out our predictions, our thoughts, as if you couldn't tell how much we're thinking about this already. And on top of that, the post-show reaction. We'll get all that done Sunday for Extreme Rules.
And for those of you who are now listening to this episode, it's in the archives. Go back, check it out.
You probably want to watch it on YouTube to see how disappointed we are at the end of the show.
Get her. I'm going to need like 5 more of these to get through this. Like 5 more. Yeah.
Of just those, or like actual alcohol?
Well, I would prefer something actually good.
I mean, it's good and sugary. It'll give you gut rot if you drink enough of them.
Yeah.
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 Well, I have plenty of beer that is currently cold, waiting in the fridge.
Do you need me to bring any IPAs? Because I got more mystery. I got more Mystery Machine upstairs. Huh? Do you need some more IPAs, Skinner? I can bring them. I got them.
My head hurts. No, I'm good. I'm good. I actually still have one IPA. I was able to get rid of one IPA last weekend. So, only one left to go. I'm not pouring it out. I can't. That's alcohol abuse. It just can't happen.
Yeah.
So let's talk about something like happier.
Oh.
Like music.
Well,
let's talk music.
I know what you're throwing to. Unfortunately, Kidder, I don't know that it's a happy topic. So
it's not a happy topic.
Yeah, no. What Kidder's sitting at on the run sheet, it was announced today on Blues Traveler's official Facebook page, because we've been following. For those who maybe don't remember, go back a couple of episodes. We talked about the fact that Blues Traveler was involved in a crash on their way to Rochester, Minnesota. Their bus crashed, and John Popper has been having leg pain since then. And so today they put out this statement, which I'm putting up on the screen now so Kidder can read it as well. But Blues Traveler said, we are very sad to announce the cancellation of the remainder of our 2021 tour dates due to the injury John Popper sustained in our recent bus accident. Ticket refunds are available at the point of purchase. So unfortunately, if you were looking forward to catching Blues Traveler during 2021 on their current tour with their newest album, Traveler's Blues, unfortunately, they've had to cancel. So I'm hoping John Popper recovers quickly. But I know I was reading some of his stuff where he was talking about he was having pain in his leg and even in his knee, and was having a hard time walking, even with use of his cane, and even sitting. So like if he tried to sit during a set, even that was painful. So
Wonder what's
he
going
went
on
in
there.
Yeah, I know he went in and got an MRI. I didn't see where he had posted any sort of results, but this was the next thing I saw. So I'm guessing that there's some serious damage from that bus accident. So hoping he makes a quick recovery, but some sad news if you are looking forward to catching Blues Traveler live. So just wanted to share that as an update. I know Kidder was hoping for some happy news, but yeah.
It's unfortunate. I mean, the good thing is that as far as I'm aware, everybody is alive and upright for the most part. So there is that portion of it. So hopefully speedy recovery for everyone involved there. And same thing with the non-point group that we mentioned about their crazy crash that happened. So let's end on a high note then with the music. Volbeat is releasing a brand new album, and their new single is currently available. Other music news that I've seen here real quick is My Darkest Days is released to Canada. A previously unreleased track. You could find that on Spotify. And the Metallica Blacklist is available for purchase. That's the remakes or covers of a whole bunch of Metallica songs from the Black Album, which was released. And I wanted to clarify, because, we're all about the fact checking on the Triple B. I just wanted to clarify that even though we thought that it was exactly the 30th anniversary of the original release of the Black Album, no, that came out in August of 1991. So not September, it was August. So I just wanted to mention that. Got so excited. Just couldn't remember. Should have known it was August. Just want to own up to that.
I was going to say, Kidder, did you see that album has risen on the charts? And I think I saw somewhere where the reissue of the Black Album was #1 on rock charts again. I may be mistaken, but I could have sworn I saw a news article at some point in the last few days when I've been searching the news and bring it up because I thought you were going to bring it up. So truthfully,
I hadn't seen that article, but since you mentioned it, you are correct there, Howie Blues, that Metallica, the Black Album remaster, is #1 on the top rock albums chart. So there's that.
Yeah. Another interesting piece of news, a little late for anybody who's listening to this, but I don't know if you also saw this, Kidder, but our friends over with the band Saul, they were supposed to be performing at Rebel Rock down in Orlando, Florida, for a festival, and Rebel Rock got canceled, and the guys, not wanting to disappoint people, wanting to still be able to provide and rock out and have a great show since they were down there, actually performed tonight a free pop-up concert at Ace Cafe in Orlando, Florida. Just so that
I saw that, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was worth mentioning because it just goes to show those are some guys who love to rock, love to entertain people, and we're not going to allow a canceled festival to ruin their trip. I mean, they're already having a tough time. They're supposed to be touring with Nonpoint, and with all of the disasters going on Nonpoint, Saul has been having a tough time with this tour. I've just got to say. So, but I'm glad to hear that they were able to find a venue and were able to go out and rock and entertain the folks. So I just thought I would share that as well.
Yeah, I saw a couple of the photos from it. It looked like a hell of a time. So wish that it could have been up here, but you know what? I missed out on that. And why did I miss out on that? Well, you'll find out if you go watch that bonus episode right here on the YouTube channel or beerbluesbs.com.
Well,
the Metallica album, by the way, the original is still on the Billboard 200 chart. It has returned to number 9 since the first time in 1992 when it was up on the 200 for 4 weeks after its release in 1991. So there's a quick little thing. Let's see. What do we got here? There's a whole bunch of different... Oh, the Blacklist. Okay, that's what it's talking about. So that's the compilation album with covers from the Black Album. Hard rock albums, top rock albums and Billboard 200. So hard rock albums is number 8. Top rock albums at number 22. And the Billboard 200, it's number 123 on there. Number 2 on the compilation albums chart. So it's at least up there. So aside from that, you gonna say the line?
I was about to say.
Looked like you were gonna say the line.
I was gonna say it. I was geared up. It was on the tip of my tongue. I was gonna give it the old Big Show. Well, we've been
it's all right. It's talking too damn long.
It's time to wrap it up.
It's a really long show tonight.
Yeah.
Well, that's every time. Please don't sue us for this bad singing.
Yeah, Kidder, we've been talking for quite a while. It's time we should wrap this up. Why don't you hit the fans out there with some cheap plugs?
I can't. Well, I'm not going to hit them because then they're not going to come back and they're not going to buy from our merch store. So maybe I'll just toss these at them. You can catch them easily.
Like a nice soft pillow, you know. It's more of a gentle, playful tap, you know.
Yeah. And if you'd like a pillow, they're available with various styles in the merch store at beerbluesbs.com. Yes, we have throw pillows on there. You're probably wanting to throw one of them at us right now, but you go check it out for yourself at beerbluesbs.com. You just click on that merch button right there at the top. So, what? Did I kill you? Are you okay?
I got it. Sorry, I got to write something down. I got the intro line for next week.
Okay, should I wait?
No.
You got it?
No, you keep going. I'm gonna write this down. Next week, guys, my intro line. It's coming. It's coming. So
that intro's on fire. What is it? You'll have to tune in next time. So let's continue with some cheap plugs. BeerBluesBS.com, again, our website and our home for everything Beer, Blues, and BS. On top of that, you know what? If you would, drop by Facebook. Like us. Click the thumbs up. Comment on the show. You can even drop a comment in the comment section with this video or auditory listening experience. We'd certainly love to hear from you. Then, our podcast is really centered around Podbean. So you can check us out there. Go to beerbluesbs.podbean.com. Like I mentioned, Facebook, we got all kinds of stuff on there, the past episodes, both in the audio version and the video version. So if you are listening to this and you want to see what it looks like, well, you can check that out right there, either on YouTube or our Facebook page. We have the links for both of those there. And as for the audio versions, you could check us out all over the place. Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Amazon Music, Stitcher, TuneIn, IMDb, and Player FM. If that isn't enough for you, while you're on Spotify, you could check out the Killer Kidder Show playlist and check out something like stand by 5,264 songs, which equals, at this point, 352 hours and 25 minutes. That's all kinds of auditory awesomeness, just like this show, which you can listen to on Spotify. Click the notifications. You get them right there on your phone or your tablet or your computer, wherever you are. Just take us with you. We appreciate it. You know? Seriously. Just do it, man. Or lady. Just do it. All encompassing here. So, thanks for joining us. And I can't go without mentioning the KRDN Eyewitness Weather Now stream. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's available for you to check out the weather right here in Bismarck and beyond. It's KRDN Eyewitness Weather Now. The KRDN Eyewitness News 8 weather stream. So please check it out. And you know what? We have all those links and more on our Facebook page. And of course, more importantly, at beerbluesbs.com. Just go spend some time on the website. Check it out. You can buy some merch too from the merch store if you want. New designs popping up randomly. And you're going to love the latest one that's on there. So check it out. beerbluesbs.com. Thanks, Future Howard, for putting that right here at the bottom of the screen. If you're watching this, then you can check it out. If you're not, you're listening, just check it out in the show notes right below this episode. So, for my bro on the other side of this thing, that is Howard Blues. The only one. Yeah, he's pointing at himself and he's surprised. He found himself, though, so that's good. We got something accomplished in this episode. As for me, I'm the man, the myth, the legend, the Mark Kidder. Thank you for joining us for this edition of the world's best damn show on the internet, on television, everywhere in between. It is the Triple B. That's Beer, Blues, and BS. Remember, don't forget, there's free beer tomorrow. Keep your glass full because, damn it, an empty drink just sucks. And on top of that, well, there's free beer tomorrow. Like I said again, in case you forgot, he didn't think there was anything in there and he got himself. That was pretty good. You don't know what the hell I'm talking about because you couldn't see it. But damn, Howard Blues almost got lemonaded. Yeah, we'll talk about it later. Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Triple B. Catch you on the old dusty Tuscon Highway once again in the next episode of the Triple B.
You have been listening to a UA production of Beer, Blues, and BS. If you enjoyed the show, help others find out about it by rating the show or leaving a review at your podcast listening service of choice. Thanks for listening, and may your glass never be empty. UA Productions presents A Glimpse Behind the Curtain.
Yeah, there's some comedy for you right there.
You almost died. you were like, oh, yeah. Just your face on that.
Well, you
That was
know.
good.
Yeah.
I don't know if you were more shocked of the taste of the pink lemonade or more surprised that there was still some left in the bottle.
I was surprised there was still. I mean, there is. You can just barely make out. There is still just a wee bit left. You see in there. There we go. There's the focus. Yeah.